The Netflix series Squid Game has become one of the biggest hits of the recent era of streaming television, and even Netflix was amazed at how well it did. The series focuses on a group of people in South Korea who are offered a chance to change their fortunes, literally, by playing kids' games, and if they succeed, they'll get a ton of cash. But if they lose, they die. The brutal stakes led to many impactful moments, but the question then becomes if and when a second season happens, what will it be about? Well, allow us to show you Squid Game Season 2 theories. Number 7. The Workforce. The Squid Game essentially operates as a mid-size level company with hundreds of employees who have to follow an extremely strict set of rules. They can't reveal information about themselves to each other, they can't remove their masks unless when in confinement, and they have to follow a zero-tolerance protocol that every so often results in having to kill contestants. So how do they get chosen? This is a job that requires discipline, barbarity, and trust that a guard won't disclose any information to the outside world. As the series revealed, there are some pinkies that manage to bend and break the rules and go unpunished, but they do so at great personal risk. Who selects these people? What is their training process? How much do they get paid? Are the VIPs involved in the process? Probably not. So does the front man do it all by himself? Well, if that's the case, he's due for some serious vacation time after all the hard work. This may seem like a small potatoes kind of deal, but we see these workers do all sorts of horrible things, and yet we don't know any of them outside of a singular mole. So why do they agree to do this? What makes them tick that they get selected for this? Maybe we'll find out. Number 6. Gi-hun's return. The final episode reveals that after winning the Squid Game, Gi-hun's life becomes meaningless. He's hopeless and spends his time reminiscing about his traumatizing past. At the very end, though, as he's preparing to fly away from Korea and reconnect with his daughter, he does a literal 180 and decides to stay, possibly to find a way to expose the game. But how will he do that? Will he infiltrate the ranks like Jun-ho did? Will he be turned in like In-ho was? Or is he staying off the island to expose the VIPs from the outside? The good thing is, after winning the 45.6 billion won prize money, Gi-hun will have unlimited resources to find a way to get back at the Squid Game, so it will be interesting to see how it all plays out. Given the use of colors for symbolism, Gi-hun's fiery new red-dyed hairdo is a sign that he's going to infiltrate Squid Game as a worker the next time he gets involved in the games. Moreover, Il-nam's death could ensure that Squid Game's organizers wouldn't take away Gi-hun's billions. So he definitely has the means, but does he have the will to go all the way and end the Squid Game for good?
형이 왜?
Number 5. The Recruiter. The Recruiter's role in Squid Game plays out like he's no more than his title. However, the role also serves as a cameo for Gong, who became internationally famous and relatable after playing the lead role in 2016's Train to Busan. Now that the series became a lot more popular than anybody expected, it wouldn't be a surprise if they brought Gong back in a bigger capacity, especially considering all the fan favorites died and we will need more familiar faces to keep Season 2 compelling. Again, this may seem like a small potatoes kind of deal, but there's a massive organization going on within the Squid Game that has all sorts of ranks, and very few of them, if any at all, are mad about what's happening, or at the very least aren't trying to stop the game at all. These pieces are all part of a puzzle that helps reveal why this game exists, how it grew to such sizes, and so on. Even the Recruiter is a big part in this, so why not learn more about him?
자네가 손님들을 맡아주게.
Number 4. The new Game Master. One of the most shocking twists from Squid Game was the fact that player 001 was in fact the one who was footing the bill. Oh Il-nam was diagnosed with a malignant brain tumor and decided that rather than watching the Squid Game, he'd experience it as a player. Because after becoming filthy rich, life lost all meaning for him and he just couldn't have fun anymore. Discovering that Il-nam was the one behind the design of the game provided an extra layer of comprehension into the character, because it made us realize that his alleged dementia during the marble game when he thought he was back in his hometown was not him becoming delirious at all. The neighborhood put together for round 4 was actually a recreation of Il-nam's old hometown, and he was impressed with the attention to detail. But now that begs the question, now that Il-nam died, who will take over planning of the next Squid Game? The recruitment process already began, as the last episode showed. Did he have time and energy to plan the game during the year prior to his death? Or had he already planned several of them? How the showrunner answers this will definitely determine a big course of action for Season 2, if not the latter seasons should they be made.
죄송한데요. 제가 지금 누굴 도울 수 있는 처지가 아닙니다.
Number 3. In-ho and Jun-ho. As Jun-ho makes his way through the guard ranks and starts to uncover some secrets of the Squid Game, he discovers his brother won the competition in 2015, but then he disappeared. As the final episode reveals, In-ho is actually the frontman who's been orchestrating the Squid Game for at least some time. But how did that transition happen? After getting $1 billion won prize money and possibly some trauma, it wouldn't be hard to imagine In-ho was lying on a beach somewhere or telling the world about the Squid Game. But what persuaded him to return as the boss? Why didn't he look for his brother? Isn't he angry at the VIPs for making him go through that horrible game? Those of us who have been around the block in the TV show world know that a character falling down a cliff to his death can be easily fixed with a single scene in Season 2. Jun-ho needs only to grab onto something or use the water to break his fall like Hollywood loves to do. Of course, narratively, it's more interesting if he survives. He can team up with Jin-ho to take down the VIPs and find out the truth about his brother. However, Jun-ho's death can also be the start of another plotline. His peers will notice his disappearance and start an investigation. He also tried to upload some videos before confronted by In-ho, so that's another way the world can find out what happened to him. Another popular theory out there is that Gi-hun will find him somehow, and the two will team up to try to take down the game for what it's done to them, their friends, and their families.
I think he's examining the refraction of the light. Let me adjust the settings.
Number 2. The VIPs. By round 5, the VIPs got bored of watching the Squid Game from a distance and decided to have a closer look. As much as banded together, they are probably worth the GDP of a small country. Are they really the only ones who finance the game? Are there more wealthy people watching? Are there golden masks for all of them? The fact that the Squid Game can be streamed brings some more questions to the table. If it's on the internet, it can be found by a skilled hacker. Maybe Gi-hun can use this strategy to expose them. But even if he manages to do it, we have to consider how far do the Squid Game boss's tentacles, pun intended, go? They probably have some control over mass media and the police, so that could be a whole different can of worms to unveil in Season 2.
그럼 그냥 가.
Number 1. New games, new rules. Part of the appeal of Squid Game in its own way was that unlike something like Hunger Games or Battle Royale, this wasn't a game system where it was kill or be killed. It was literally children's games that you had to play, and if you lost, you died. With the main creator gone, it's possible that the games aren't going to shift to a less childlike style and into something even darker. Furthermore, it's possible that there will be new rules so that people like Gi-hun can't win again, and thus increase the odds in the bettor's favor. Given all the people involved in this, one has to believe that the game will at least change a little, because no one wants to bet on a stale game, right? So what do you think? What do you think of this look at the potential second season of Squid Game, and how it might just build upon what the first season did? Do you think that there is enough content to make the second season as impactful as the first one? Or do you think it might follow in the path of other sequels and fail to impress? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time on the channel.